This game is Hellpoint. Now, I actually backed this game on Kickstarter many years ago, so long ago in fact that I didn't even really remember it was a thing until they sent me the Steam code, but nonetheless, here we are. Now, I gotta say, this game is pretty good, but it was a small dev team with a small budget, and that really does show in a lot of places. So the game is a Dark Souls. The devs were very open about their inspiration, and I think from a story point of view there's also a bit of the movie Event Horizon in there. Here we are with this somewhat androgynous, vat-grown replicant clone thingy. We are on this derelict space station orbiting a black hole, and if you've seen Event Horizon you probably know where this is going. Now, I quite like the look and feel, the atmosphere of this game, but coming back to small team, small budget, some of the tile sets do start to look a bit samey after a while. And combine that with the very twisty-turny nature of the levels, it can be very easy to get lost at times. Now, the combat is quite fun. It feels weighty, it sounds very meaty, but sometimes the hitboxes can just not register connections, some of the animations can get a bit janky, and some of the animations don't even have transitions between them, e.g. if you roll off a ledge, you sort of go halfway through the somersault animation and there's no smooth transition to the falling animation, you just sort of teleport directly from one to the other. There are also a few design choices that I probably would have made differently. Just as an example, fast travel is locked behind a consumable which is not particularly common, and they tend to be hidden and hard to find. Enemy respawns, they don't respawn when you rest at a checkpoint like they do in other Souls type games. Instead they respawn when you die or reload the area, which can be a bit annoying because they can drop crafting materials. So if you're trying to farm up a specific item, then it can be a real pain in the backside to do. And the biggest thing I'm really not keen on is your heals. When you die, you just come back with your basic 2 healing items. Doesn't matter how many times you've upgraded it. I think mine maxed out at about 8 heals, but if you die you just start with the basic 2. That means if you're fighting a boss and you die during the boss fight and you want to go back and have another go, you've either got to go in with your minimal heals or you have to run through the area getting more, because of the way the healing works. If when you attack enemies you get a bit of a portion of your heal back, and eventually the circle down the bottom left corner there will fill up, and when that fills up you get another healing item up to your maximum. So it breaks up the flow of the boss fight if you have to run through the area again fighting all the enemies just to get your heals back. Now, there is a rather interesting gimmick that this game has. It's the little clock looking thing up in the top left of the screen there. When the little hand is in the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock positions, that activates a special event. It spawns in either a mini boss or a wave fight, and you can complete that and get some rewards out of it. Also, when the 2 hands meet, that is I think they call it a black hole eclipse or something like that. There are some special golden gates and somewhere in each level, or most of the levels, and they'll only open at the specific time of this black hole eclipse. It's an interesting idea. The problem is you tend to not be there, and you have to be in the right place at the right time. And if you want to do the completionist thing, basically it means you end up just sitting there waiting for the time to arrive, and it just breaks up the flow of combat while you're just standing around doing nothing. Now, one thing I will actually give this game a lot of praise for, it managed to avoid falling into the trap that most of these Dark Souls clones fall into, which is equating the number of times you die with how much fun you must be having. Most of them seem to just buff up the enemy health and attack power, and then throw hordes of them at you, and then assume that that's going to be lots of fun, when it end up in reality it's just tedium. This game tends to avoid that. The enemies are they're reasonably well balanced for your progress through the game. They don't throw heaps of them at you most of the time. Obviously, they're little bits of bullshittery every hit now and then, but overall the game's reasonably well balanced. So overall, at the end of the day, this game is pretty good. If you like the Dark Souls games, the third-person action RPG, whatever you want to call it, I can recommend this game. It's a pretty good game.